And we know that the longer a shutdown goes on, obviously those workers have went without pay, and it's not like they can be paid like that. It's not like the issues at the airport are going to be resolved the moment that the government reopens. And some of your colleagues in the House Republicans signed a letter to Speaker Mike Johnson, and I want to read part of it and get your take on it. They said this, that after the shutdown, quote, "We should immediately turn our focus to the growing crisis of healthcare affordability and the looming expiration of the Enhanced Affordable Care Act premium tax credits. Millions of Americans are facing drastic premium increases due to short-sighted Democratic policymaking. While we did not create this crisis, we have both the responsibility and the opportunity to address it." Obviously, that's something you agree with because you have said that healthcare costs are an issue. What is the Republican plan then to address healthcare costs in this country?
Well, I agree with part of that statement from a group of centrist Republicans that are concerned about the cost of healthcare overall, but I disagree with them that the solution is some sort of extension to these Affordable Care Act subsidies that were really for the emergency COVID period and for the emergency COVID period only. We understand we've got to come to the conclusion, right, just on its surface, that if we are demanding these emergency subsidies become permanent for the Affordable Care Act to actually be affordable, then it goes without much difficulty in understanding that the Affordable Care Act is actually not affordable. And that's what we have to all recognize. And look, this is something that I think Republicans have failed with in the past, is we've not provided a good or reasonable alternative, but we certainly have never supported the Affordable Care Act because what's in it and the things that underpin it that prop it up, like these temporary subsidies, seem to always have to become permanent and become permanent in such a terrible way where we're not giving this money to the American people. We're giving this money to large insurance companies. I think that's what most people who are actually supportive of the Democratic worldview and thought process here don't understand. They don't know that this money is going directly to some of the largest corporations in America. Which is usually anathema to what they actually believe and state that they represent. And so, look, there's no question that healthcare is unaffordable. We have got to take this next year and work together to make healthcare affordable. I think that means a fairly radical departure from the Affordable Care Act. We've got a year to figure this out, or Republicans will be held accountable for it in the 2026 elections. I think there's no question about that.
And I was speaking with Congresswoman Lisa McClain last week, and she said there's no silver bullet fix. This isn't a problem that can be fixed overnight. And I know you don't approve of, and you wouldn't agree and support the extension of the enhanced ACA subsidies. But would you temporarily support them for perhaps a year while everyone in the House hammers this out and maybe provides something more substantial when it comes to fighting healthcare costs in this country? Because it doesn't seem like, as of now, the House is really good at compromising.
No, I won't support them because they don't solve the problem in any way, shape, or form. I mean, this is what we've got to understand, is that even for those who are getting subsidies, the expiration of these emergency subsidies only affects 5% of those people that are getting subsidies. This in no way, shape, or form impacts the 75% of Americans that actually can't afford health care. And so I'm not in the business up here. My constituents do not want me to put Band-Aids on significant bleeding wounds and say that our job here as politicians is done. That's not the type of performative politics that I was elected to perform up here. I was actually elected to actually make demonstrable change and increase positive outcomes for my constituents. And that's what I intend to do. I'm by no means a healthcare expert, but I do know the free market solves a lot of the problems that we have. And when we can increase competition and we can increase consumer choice, that is almost always the right answer, and certainly is the right answer when it comes to healthcare.
I know that people will be seeing these premiums rise. The KFF says by an estimated 26%. ACA insurers are raising premiums by an estimated 26%, but most enrollees would see sharper increases in what they pay if enhanced tax credits expire. So when would this I know you don't want a Band-Aid, so when would the permanent fix be in place? Because people are seeing what their premiums would be next year and are saying, oh my God, I can't afford this. I'm going to have to make some tough choices here when it comes to my health care. I mean, what do you say to those people, and what's the fix for 2026?
Well, you've got to educate them that it's not a binary choice. It's not, if we don't get these enhanced subsidies re-upped for another year, my healthcare is going to go up. No, your healthcare is going to go up. I mean, that's what people, I think, fundamentally don't understand. This is not, these subsidies are not actually a stopgap to prevent healthcare costs from increasing sharply this year. Healthcare costs are increasing sharply because the Affordable Care Act is failing, and it's failing in real time. And so, look, again, just to be as completely clear and honest with you as I possibly can, I don't take the House healthcare system because it's actually too expensive. It doesn't make any sense for me and my family. And we actually use an Affordable Care Act carve out that is called a health sharing ministry to provide for my family's health care because it's a reasonable and actually affordable, and it really does work. I don't buy into the system that we have at all. And it's not just me saying that. That's actually what I do with my family's dollars. So look, I'm not, I don't have like some protective, golden parachute here that no other American has. We're fighting the exact same fight that every other American is fighting and looking for better solutions that are currently on the table. I think my family has found one with a Christian health sharing ministry, but we've got a lot of work to do to make sure that all Americans have access to something like that that works for them. Right now, they don't.
But Congress